Hey and welcome to this new video of learning ECMAScript6. So in this video we'll be learning about exception. So and as always to learn more, let's do an example. So first we will create a function that check, for example, if we pass to her as parameter a number or not. So for example, let's name it is or check number, for example, and as parameter we will pass the number. And here if we want to check, for example, if this num is number or not, let's use the is none. I think it's like this, none, and it will return to us like false if it's number and true if it's not a number, because is not a number. So here it just type a console.log, just like a simple function, number here, else not a number. So console.log not a number. Here let's now invoke the function and let's give her first number, for example. Let's run this and not a number. Why not a number? Something is wrong in here. Let me see if I give her a string. Yeah, because here this will return true if we give it, so is not a number, will return false if we give it a number. So here when I need to type not a number, and here I need to type a number, because if you want like just to see, so console.log, and let's use here this is none function, because is not a number. If we type 5, for example, let's run this and it will return to us false. See, if we type a string, for example, test, it will show us true, because test is not a number, but 5 is a number. That's why she is like returning false. So now this is like a quick and simple function. So now let's use some function or some expression, and we will start by the true. So let's use this true, for example, in here, true, and after that we will show, for example, a message, for example, exception, and here let's give it something that is not a number, test, for example, or let's give it a number so that it can go to df. Here clear, run, and we throw a number, or we throw like this function, and let's give her here something that is not a number, so for example test. Now let's run, and we see the error in here, script error line 0. I will add here exception so that we can see the message of the error. So he typed just error in this row. Now if we try, for example, to execute or to console log something else, 8, for example, clear, let's run, we see that it's not like we didn't see it in here. So basically this is what true did. If for example we know that this will give us some error and we type true, when for example the code arrive to this row and he find the error, he will stop executing. That's why what he did in here. So we type the test, he go here, he know that test is not a number, so he type this not a number, and normally we should see instead of this error not a number exception. And when he when he arrived to this row, he stopped executing the program. That's why we didn't see this 8 in here. So now we will move on and study the try, catch, and finally, because this row we use it, we really when we use it, we didn't use it very often, but catch and try and catch we use it very often in our programming. So now let's always show here an error, for example here not a number, and now let's use try and catch. So try, open the bracket, and here we will invoke the function, and let's give it first a number, and after that we use the catch, and in the catch it needs a parameter. Basically it's the catch ID or our problem. So here console.log, let's say exception or problem, for example prob, and here let's add this e to see the problem. So let's clear this and let's type in here, for example, another console log to see, for example, if we didn't type or if we arrive to this row, we will stop, if the program will stop executing or not. So run number. So because this is a number, that's why he move on here to the else, and we see here the number and this test. So now let's give it something that is not a number, a string, for example, and let's see what will happen. So clear, run, and we see here that it catch the problem and it showed to us what we type, exception problem is not a number, and also it continue executing, and we see this test in here. So basically this is the difference between throw and try and catch. When we did throw, the program stopped executing when he arrived to the throw, and when he find that it's an exception or a problem in it. But with try and catch, basically what we say in here, we say just try this function. If it's work, that means it's okay, but if it's not okay or it doesn't work, catch the problem and show it to us in here, and after that just continue your program or your code. And after try and catch there is finally. So basically this finally, it's always run even if it's an error or not. For example, if we here in try or catch, but finally it's it always run. Basically you will not say it or some other people explain it, because as I told you, it's always run, but it's good to know it. Good to know it. So finally, and here let's type, for example, console log always runs. So let's see now, clear, run, and we say that it's run in here. Let's give it a number, clear, run again, and here it is. It's always running. So basically, as I told you, as in here always run, this finally it's always running. Maybe for example after trying or catching some error or trying something, you want a code or a piece of code to be always running, so you put it here in this finally. So this finally, you will, as I told you, you will not see it in a lot of tutorial or even in your class that your teacher or your tutor explain it, because maybe they don't know it, or maybe they think of it as it's not important, but it's good to know it. So if you have some piece of code you don't know, for example after like checking this, you want to, I don't know, to have for example how many time did you call this function. So here you will set up your, for example, I don't know, a loop for counting or something like that. So I think this is all for this video. In the next video we will start our OOP, or oriented programming language, or object oriented programming. So we will see it, class, inheritance, and stuff like that, or stuff related to the object oriented programming. So see you next.